Hey everybody, it's Ed here, messy in the middle, coming from you from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and I've got my co-host Jefi Moultrie, and we're so excited for today because Jefi, where are you calling in from?
I'm in Inverness, Scotland.
Inverness, Scotland,
Yeah.
coming to you live, and this is something we've been talking about. We wanted to do. Um, Jeffy's on location, as they say.
Yeah, we tried to do it. We tried to do it in a little different location, but it's pouring with rain, so that's not going to happen.
That's not going to work. So a little backstory here on what this episode is about, and it's really, work-life balance, getting that dialed in. And where this came from was about 1 year ago to the
Mm,
day.
yeah.
We were at peak, and Jeffy said, "Hey, we jokingly called these things BFHGs, big fat hairy goals." And she said, I want to do a trip next year, but it's going to have to fall right around peak, so I won't be able to go to peak.
Yeah.
And so you set that goal, and I'm going to let you talk now about what you're doing and what it's all about. It's a beautiful story.
Okay. So, not to take too long, but on December 23rd, 2019, um, a sister, I knew I had a sister, but we couldn't find her, and we found her through Ancestry. Well, she found us actually. So, December 23rd, my whole family, my brother, myself, my mother, all my kids, and everybody got to meet Karen. And then over the last couple years, obviously with COVID and everything that was happening, we didn't get to spend a ton of time together. So, one of the things that Karen and I had chatted about was taking this pilgrimage trip to be able to take Mama uh, to um, the UK and to be able to kind of tour and see where her family is from. So this has been this journey of not only seeing London, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland, it's really been this journey of getting to know everybody on a deeper level, and it's been a lot of fun.
Wow. And so
Yeah.
it was a dream, and
Yep.
a lot of times people just dream, but then
Yeah.
when you make it something that you're actually going to do and you commit to a date and all the things to pull it off, you're doing it. And I just
Absolutely.
absolutely love this. So tell
Yeah.
us a little bit real quickly who's all on this pilgrimage with you.
Okay, so my mama, my 83-year-old mama bear, my sister Karen, her daughter Kelsey, and my oldest daughter Jordy, and myself.
Great. So the
So
girls they're
the
on walkabout.
girls
Look
are on
out.
walkabout. Well, we're on drive about. So I am the only one that knows how to drive a standard, shift car, and on the left side of the road. So I've been the driving the daisies around.
Driving the daisies. I love it. That's perfect. So what we're seeing here is this really isn't just a vacation report about what Jeffy's doing in this life
Right.
goal, but it's, you know, how do you do something like this when you're a high production professional and you want to go
Hmm.
take off and do it?
Yeah.
How do you go about it? And what are the things that you need in place? And I
Sure.
think we had kind of three key buckets that you can give some live fire on,
Okay.
which were systems, boots on the ground, and then client expectations.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with that in mind, do you want to dive in with the first one on systems
Sure.
and what you're doing to make this work as a high
Absolutely.
spring market and
Yeah.
real
I
estate's
know.
crazy. So
Yeah.
let's talk
And this
about it.
is this is really funny too because I took my personal phone. So Jeffy's Got a Burner was one of our first podcasts, and I love traveling with just my non-work phone. It's been really lovely. So I haven't seen anything. I don't have work email on here. I don't have anything. It's just very separate. And so today I sent a text to Raquel and she said, "Oh yeah, we just listed this property. You just closed this property. You got got a listing appointment." So everything is happening. And I think that's where a lot of us get caught up in. We can't get out of our own ways because everything will go on without you. The world does not stop because you're taking time to refill your tank or spend really precious time with your family. this is something, and each time I go, I always have that anxiousness about leaving and what people are going to say, and are they going to not call me and they call someone else? No, they're going to call you. Your life is going to be great. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to do the things you need to do and then come home to some beautiful listings because your team has worked so hard and done great things for you. So the systems part comes in where our team uses Monday. And
Right.
well, I use Monday with Raquel, my assistant. And I hate calling her that because literally she should be my boss. So my boss, Raquel.
She's director of operations.
She's
Let's upgrade her
director
right
of
now.
Jeffy Moultrie, is what
There it
she
is.
and
Yes.
then yeah, director of Jeffy Moultrie. And then our team to collectively, so Joe, my business partner, Raquel, and I use Slack. So Slack is like we communicate text wise back and forth. Everybody's on the same page. Everybody knows what's going on. So the week before, or actually 2 weeks before I leave, I start calling all of my clients that I'm currently under contract with, or going under contract, or showing properties to, and all of my potential people.
Right.
So because potentials are usually the people that pop up while you go on, because they're, oh, she's going on vacation. They don't even know it, and then all of a sudden, they want help. So that's how that
Right.
works. So we lay that out through Monday and Slack. That way Joe, my business partner, knows exactly my last touch with the client, what we talked about, what their expectation is, what days they can see properties, what day they want to list their home, what day the photographer is coming. I mean, it's just everything is just there. So there's no guesswork. And
Mm-hmm.
because because our team consists of Joe, myself, and Raquel, Raquel is this beautiful piece that holds all, the triangle together, right? So she can look on there and say, "Hey Joe, today your tasks for Jeffy are blah 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 blah," and then Joe doesn't have to think about it. He just goes, "Okay, here are my tasks." And the same for me when he travels happens.
Right.
So I would say those little pieces of having everything together where there's no guesswork, and obviously shit happens, and stuff's gonna slip and things are gonna, but it's not what you think, and it's not insurmountable. So
Mm-hmm.
you just got to get out of your own way and let the systems work.
Let the systems work, get out
Hmm.
of your own way. And then what I'm hearing there too is do a good 2 week prep going in so
Yeah.
that everything that's running and is on the potential, and you're going to have new potentials pop in while you're gone, but
Hmm.
anything that's kind of teed up or in process, you've
Hmm.
had enough time to really smooth out the bumps before you launch.
Yes, and as much as you possibly can, and that's something we can talk about with client expectations as part of your
Yep.
bullet points if you want.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, let's flip over to boots on the ground. So, Joe,
Okay.
we're talking about you. Raquel, we're
Joe
talking about you,
O'Mara.
but
Yeah.
probably a lot on Joe on this, and like
Yeah.
getting the call, the hey, I need this, the things that aren't the way I think about boots on the ground. And correct me if I'm wrong. Is it's those calls you get that you don't see it coming. It's that kind of
Right.
unexpected thing.
Hmm.
And how tell us how that's working and how what the expectations are there.
Okay, so I'd like to take everybody back because Joe and I have been business partners for 8 years. He has his business, I have my business, and we have our joint business. We both
Mm-hmm.
travel pretty close to equally because his wife is a school teacher, so they take a lot of time off as well. And over the years, we have gotten better and better and better at what boots on the ground means. So it originally we hired somebody that was a showing agent, and they would just come on board while one of us traveled, and then we tried somebody who just did running, and then we tried, so we went through all the different things that you can imagine that are important to you as a business person, and then we decided, look, this isn't working, this is too messy, it just needs to be one person and one assistant. So if you don't have a business partner, I don't want you to not take these kind of trips. It's really important that you hear that because you don't need a business partner. What you need a colleague that you trust that will take care of you the same way you would take care of them when they were traveling. And there are 100 different strategies for paying people. And Joe and I, we can share those strategies with you guys. I mean, we've tried some and they've worked really, really well. But ultimately, because Joe and I travel the same amount, we do not charge each other while we're gone.
Yeah, and it just comes out
It
in the
just
wash.
happens, and it's just this beautiful thing that just happens. And if it ever didn't feel equitable, we would chat about it. Now, that might not work for some relationships. It works for Joe and I. So there are certain ways that you can pay somebody. But what I found, and this happened before Joe, and it actually happened to Joe, is that when he hired someone to help him while he was out of town, this person was pushing the buyer really hard to go under contract. Probably not for the best, you know, the best thing for the client, because that was how that person got paid. That's why I
Uh,
think that it's much better when to have somebody who you do an equitable split of time for vacation time.
that's an interesting spin on that. Yeah, because then
Yeah,
their incentive isn't matching with the clients. Where
correct.
if you're, and so one of the takeaways I'm hearing is if you don't have a business partner and you know when you lay out your year that you're going to take, 4 or 6 weeks off, whatever it is,
Hmm.
then you want to have a relationship with somebody that's kind of in that same boat,
Hmm.
and you lay out your calendars and like, I got your back, you got mine.
Exactly.
However it comes out, it comes out.
Exactly. And a lot of times, like, I'll do a nice little bonus or do something to
Right.
to love on Raquel, or I'll do something nice for Joe, or I'll say, hey, take this weekend off, or he'll do the same thing for me. I mean, really, if you're a good human, it really, and you surround yourself with good humans, you're going to find that person that'll be able to do that for you.
Yeah.
And you're also going to find someone who doesn't do it for you, just like we did. So you just have to keep trying.
Yeah.
Um, the other piece of that is I remember Brian talking in one of our seminars that we had with him, and he was talking about teaching his clientele that his assistant knew more than he did. And I don't even, this has been years, right? But teaching your clients to know that calling Raquel is the best thing to do, because she will always know more than I will know, because I'm in the car, or I'm with clients, or I'm writing contracts, or doing things that are just like with humans, right? So she's behind a desk and she's answering calls and she's looking at texts and whatever. And
Right.
so that's all part of this too. So because Raquel is just as an intricate, if not the most intricate piece of this piece of travel.
Right. And part of that too is educating the clients that you do a daily check in. She
Hmm.
sees all your email, just as Beth,
Hmm.
we do those too. Daily check in, sees all my
Hmm.
email. So they're in tune with what's going on and will probably have a
Yes.
better answer and a quicker answer.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. And that kind of comes to the fact, the piece of with getting your clients on board, right? That's our last
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, let's go to that right now. Client
Okay,
expectations.
the client expectations. So if you spend a couple weeks, because our business changes so rapidly, you don't even know where you are in a transaction in 2 weeks. You could be closing something in a couple days after 2 weeks that you put under. So we always just every single day have this check-in. And then Raquel made a list for me on Monday of all of my current clients, people under contract, potential clients, and I sat there and called every single person. Now,
Mm.
this was a really difficult lesson for me to learn, but I want to tell you something.
Okay,
about
this I gotta hear.
about 7 years ago, I was getting on a plane to go to Australia with Cody, and I had a really tough client. She's dull, but she was tough. I like tough, so it's kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody likes tough, right? Well, I didn't tell her I was leaving because I was scared to tell her I was leaving.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
And then sweet Joe gets on the phone, starts calling everybody, and he gets to her and calls her, and she's all, wait, who are you? So I'm Joe, I'm Jeffy's business partner. Well, where the hell is she?
Oops.
Meanwhile, I'm in a cocktail lounge getting ready to get on Qantas and fly in 15 hours. Anyway, it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. So for the last, 5 to 7 years, every time I leave town, Joe looks at me, he's all, do you swear you've called every single one of your clients? And now, of course I do, because I've never want to put him in that position again, or my client
Right.
for that matter.
Right.
But when I call, I always just say, hey, I just want to let you know I'm leaving town and I'm leaving on this day. So normally I call like 4 or 5 days before, so they don't feel like I'm leaving tomorrow. And I say, you can call me anytime before then. If there's anything that comes up, I actually think that's a better strategy than calling people right before you go, because it gives them time to process things if they
Right.
want to talk things through.
And they get on board with what you're doing
They
too.
get on board. And then once I've made that initial touch base with that client, Raquel starts taking over even more than she normally does.
Mm.
So what that does is that starts to create this beautiful piece of energy that just keeps the boat moving. So it's not like all of us, I'm still here, I'm still touching base, I'm still chatting with them, but Raquel is running the ship.
Yes.
My clients do not care that I'm out of town. They don't, I mean, there's not,
They just want to,
there's,
yeah, they want their
they,
stuff being
yeah,
taken
they
care
just want to make
of.
sure they're taken care of. And
Yeah.
there's no two people that I would trust more than those guys. So that's really good. And sometimes people go, well, how long are you going to be gone? I get
Yeah.
that one. How long are you going to be gone?
How long are you
But
going to be gone?
this trip, I told most everybody about this journey with Mama Bear, and every person was on board. Every person
Well,
was on board.
yeah. And
Yeah,
if they're not on board, then they're probably not the right fit for,
that's true.
with what you're doing.
That's
And I think
true.
that's brilliant to introduce the concept, let them get on board, and then Raquel picks up her pace and game as you kind of fade out a little bit.
Yeah.
When I was running a consulting practice, we'd sell the business in, and then the project manager would take over, and we called that backing out of the room, where
Oh.
you kind of back out, and then the
Uh-huh.
project manager's a lot easier to get a hold of. Right.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
they accelerate up as the practice leader kind of backs out,
Yeah.
and it worked quite well. But I
That's
love
great.
the setting the expectation.
Yeah.
Well, I want you to get back to your wonderful, wonderful journey. I know you've had an amazing day. St. Andrews,
Oh yeah.
dodging golf balls,
Dodging golf
having a
balls.
Guinness, doing all the fun
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just really, really glad that you've done this
Me
and
too.
had the confidence to put a stake in the ground to say you're going to do it,
Yep.
and then build the systems, the people, and the client expectations to actually pull it off. So, way to
Yeah.
go, Jeffy.
Thanks for the support, Ed. I really appreciate that.